I look at a lot of these red flags and they're very helpful, but I thought about what are some red flags that men can look for in regards to sex specifically. Are there red flags that a woman is going to kill the bedroom after the marriage?
Yeah, so for the guys that watch your content that that you mentioned earlier, a lot of guys that come to you, they say that they're in like a sexless type of marriage.
Right.
I think and this is real tough to fix when you're in a marriage, right? Like if you've been married for 10 years and you maybe get it once a year or something like that, if you're lucky and it ends up being starfish, I can tell you that there were very clear indicators that led up to that about her. And, like I said earlier, if a woman truly loves and adores a man, she'll make it very easy and cheap and inexpensive for him to access her time and her sexual opportunities. She'll be very generous with her body. She'll be willing to do things with him that she's been unwilling to do with other guys if she truly loves and adores a man. So it's a very strong indicator if you're in a long-term relationship and your wife or your girlfriend doesn't want to be intimate with you. She has a headache, she's tired, she has to work tomorrow, she didn't take a shower, whatever the excuse is. It's a very strong indicator that she doesn't really like you. Because like I said earlier, men know this, that when they experience genuine burning desire, as I outlined in the chapter in my book, when they truly experience genuine burning desire, a woman will be very generous with her body as frequently as possible. If you say that you like something, to a woman that you're with, and she says, "Oh, I don't do that." Okay, so let's use an example like, I don't know, we'll use something remote like anal. I like that. And then she says, "Well, I don't do that." In your head, you have to add "with you," because she has been willing to do that with another guy that she was hot to trot for. And that's just something that you have to understand about female nature. Like women don't overtly tell you these things. It's only guys like me out there that are telling you these things about what the translation means and what her behavior means. But I think that the reason why a lot of these guys end up into sexless marriages really is for two. One, they end up marrying women that aren't really their first choice. Like these women kind of had to settle. They were kind of at the end of the rope. They realized that their friends were getting married and having children. And these women generally have to make some concessions because the guys that they really want don't want to commit to them. So that's the first thing. The second thing as well is there's three iddies that kill all desire in long-term relationships: proximity, familiarity, and exclusivity. And exclusivity deals specifically with sexual exclusivity. The more of those three things that women have with certainty, the less interested she will be in wanting to sleep with you. You're always around. She's familiar with your schedule. She knows that she owns the D and nobody else is touching it and that there's no other woman that's interested in it. When you get to that point where you're no longer novel, then you're a lot less appealing and interesting to that woman. Because women want what other women want, right? Like the easiest way for a woman to vet a guy is to have that guy in the close proximity of attractive women, right? It's why women would rather date a married man than to be with a broke loser that lives in his mom's basement, right? Because the guy's already got pre-selection.
But aren't you taking out a little bit of the hormonal side to things, where men are having such a high biological drive? Then that's why they're always inside. There's biological prompting to want to have sex all the time, and women don't have nearly the amount of testosterone. And the reason I say this, Rich, is just because when my hormone pellets start decreasing, and I'm almost at the point where I have to get repelleted, that last 2 weeks, my attraction for my husband has not changed at all. But my willingness to act on that attraction with him by having sex, that does. So I think there's a little bit more to this.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about HRT with hormone replacement therapy and how testosterone is kind of like a driver for libido and sex in both men and women. And that's part of the reason why they give women testosterone pellets or injections or whatever. Familiarity in relationships will always create some level of boredom just over time. It's like, I know that Esther Perel studied this. She's got some good stuff out there. And, if you look at a chart, it's like for women, attraction for her partner drops like a hockey stick. So it goes kind of straight down and then it slowly goes over time. Whereas for men, it sort of goes slowly over time. So I think that it's just more natural for a woman when she locks a guy down to be less attracted to him, less interested in being intimate with him. But I think that you can push that off and you can delay it more if you manage those three itties better, if you're a man of high value and attractiveness, and you've got your life squared away. But even then, you're not likely on year 10 to be having the same frequency of sex as you did 3 months into dating, where you're swinging from the chandelier 3 times a night.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to have the same level after that honeymoon phase is over. I think that's just
It does slow
to
down for
have that
almost
expectation
all
that it's going to
couples.
maintain at that same level. I don't think's
Right.
realistic. Do you have relationships where at year 8 that it's as hot and heavy as month 3?
I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't stay in a long-term relationship where she's not hot to trot at pretty close to the same level that went on at the beginning. But I know how to manage women over the long term a little bit better. There's a lot of stuff that I've put in my second book. The first book was more just kind of about like, here, kind of understand these basic concepts about relationships and all this sort of stuff. My second book's more about how to manage the relationship over the long term for guys, and there's some useful stuff in there for women too. But the management of a relationship over the long term to continue to maintain intimacy at the frequency that keeps you happy isn't that easy. And it's quite a bit of work. And
Yeah.
your reward for all of that as a guy is you don't get any of the novelty that you used to get before when you were dating a whole bunch of other women. You're kind of stuck with the same gal. So there's ways to manage it, and minimize it and slow the decline or the rate of it. But I don't think that a lot of the guys that are stuck in sexless marriages are going to ever find themselves in a position where it's like all of a sudden overnight or in a week's time or a month's time, his wife is throwing her body at him. There might be situations like, her hormones are not in balance, right? So a hormone replacement clinic might be helpful in that sense. If she genuinely loves the guy and is still attracted to him, it's just her libido isn't there because her hormones are out of whack or she's hitting menopause or something like that. So there's that, right? There's other things that you can do to manage the course of the relationship and her desire for you, which again, I've broken down in the second book, which comes out in the fall, but it's very difficult. And it's extremely frustrating for guys. And for most of them, it's not a salvageable sinking ship. It's something that you often just have to let go down and start fresh with a new relationship, but not make the same stupid mistakes that you did last time. One of them is generally guys inviting women into their lives that aren't that hot for them. That's, I hate to tell the guys out there watching this, but a lot of guys are in sexless marriages because you married a woman and you weren't her first choice.